And welcome back to Charlottesville Insights. This is Jeff Gaffney, your host, and we have on the program today, back on the program, is David Cooke, who's an associate broker with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate 3 and a top producer for years and years in this marketplace. David, thanks for being on the show.
Jeff, good morning. Nice to be with you again.
Let's start with, talk to us about the December real estate market, 2011. What do you think?
I think, generally speaking, two trains of thought. I think even in better economic times, typically December is a slower time. Most people tend to put business activities on the back burner, especially with real estate, once Thanksgiving rolls around and through Christmas. But I think it can also be an opportunity for buyers. Most of the time, at this time of year, when a home is on the market, sellers really want to, and in many cases need to sell. So there are certainly many opportunities out there for buyers right now to get good deals.
I've said for years, I think that potentially one of the best months of the year to buy is in December. If you can focus on real estate, I know there's a lot of other things going on, but if you can focus, as you said, oftentimes the mindset of the seller in December is, gee, if anybody just looks at my house, let alone puts in an offer, it might be, let's make a deal time for buyers. You might get your best deal in December. What do you think?
Indeed. I think that's a wise statement, Jeff. When you have your home on the market in December, there's a reason for it. Right. And I think that for the savvy buyer who recognizes that, it's really the best opportunity to get good value for a home. I think relative on the other side of the coin, relative to sellers, I think that unless you really need to or want to sell your home, it's usually better to wait until probably January or February once you get through the holidays.
Let me debate you on that for just a second. So suppose we had a home that was really priced well, and we'll make that assumption, and if it's on the market in December and it's decorated with holiday cheer, maybe you've got some lights, you've got the tree, and it smells really good, I have a theory that you can, as a seller, take a little bit of advantage of some of the emotion that comes into play. Now, you have to get somebody to look at your house, but it can be, I guess we'd call it, staged very well, and it can kind of draw an emotion, again, if you can get somebody to look at your house. What do you think about that?
Jeff, that's a good point. I do think clearly residential sales in most cases are driven by emotion, and right. You want to try and capture that. So I think there is some merit to that, especially in December. However, I think for most of the public looking to consider real estate, many people are focused on spending their money buying Christmas presents than they are homes right now, and are waiting for probably after the first of the year. But again, as we said a moment ago, the savvy buyer, if they take that in consideration now, can make a good deal.
We're here with David Cooke, associate broker of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate 3, and David is on the board of directors of our local Salvation Army, and today is Super Sundays, which is a Real Estate 3 event, which is the largest open house event in Central Virginia. We have over 30 homes open today, and it's going to benefit the Salvation Army. Real Estate 3 is going to make a donation. We're going to try to bring some attention and encourage people to come by the open houses, make a donation. David, how did you get involved in the Salvation Army?
Jeff, about 7 years ago, a business colleague of mine called me up one day and asked me if I would consider being a member of their board. And I didn't have to think. I said yes immediately. I think one of the things that has impressed me with the Salvation Army since I've been a member of their board, but even prior to that, was if you think about it, the Salvation Army really does the most good for those in our community who are the most in need. And I think there are many organizations that do a lot for the community, but clearly the Salvation Army helps the most who really need the most.
Tell us about some of the programs that the Salvation Army has and what they do, how they serve the community specifically.
I think the one most important and most visible program that we have is the Salvation Army serves 3 meals a day, 365 days a year to people who have no place to go to eat, and that's critical. We also have transitional housing program for those who have been in a difficult situation but have dug themselves out. We have the transitional housing, which allows them to continue with education and move them into, when they have a job, to start balancing their own budgets, managing their own money, and that can last anywhere from 12 to 18 to 24 months. And of course, we also do have housing for people who sometimes have no place else to go, and they can come and stay at the shelter on a nightly basis.
How about the Angel Tree? That seems to be something that we hear quite a bit about. Is what's going on with that, and how does that work?
Yes, the two big functions we have this time of year, clearly tied to Christmas, are our red our Red Kettle campaign and also the Angel Tree. The Angel Tree is an opportunity where someone can choose a name from the Angel Tree and provide gifts for that typically their children, and provide gifts for children who might otherwise not have any sort of Christmas at all. And that's a big part of what we do. In addition to the Red Kettle campaign, as I spoke about earlier, you see the red kettles, the bell ringers. This is another means for which we help to fund our programs throughout the year.
And the Angel Tree today, if anybody wants to stop by one of the Real Estate 3 open houses today, they could bring a new unwrapped toy and drop it off, and we'll make sure it gets delivered to the Salvation Army. So that's a possibility today. And does it really make a difference if you throw some change into the Red Kettle? I mean, does that raise some money for you guys?
Indeed it does. I mean, it's not the sole source of our revenue, but it's a tradition that I think most people are aware of in the country this time of year. And I think that it's an opportunity for people to give a little money. We don't ask for a lot of money from people, but any extra that they have that they don't need can go a long way to helping those who really need it the most.
So let's really encourage folks to do that really now as we lead up to Christmas. And will you be out there ringing the bell?
Indeed, I will.
Where will you, and when will that be?
Well, the company, our company, Better Homes and Garden Real Estate 3, we have picked 2 days this year for which our company will be ringing the bell at the Sam's location on 29 North. And it'll be December 16th and 17th, Friday and Saturday. And we'll be there from 10 in the morning till 8 p.m. at night.
Well, that's outstanding, David. I have a feeling you've signed me up for that, so I'm all in with you. Let's get to one of your questions here. Jonathan in Charlottesville writes in. He says, and what a good time for this question. Jonathan in Charlottesville asks, does having a public open house actually work to sell your home? What do you say, David Cooke?
Jeff, I think in many cases it will depend on the type of house and, even more importantly, the price range. I do think public open houses are productive for certain price ranges, but I think in some cases they're not productive. Typically, I think public open houses are very effective for price ranges anywhere from, say, $1 to $500,000. I think once you get above $500,000 or $600,000 in terms of a listing price, public open houses aren't always that effective. You get mostly tire kickers.
Let me give you my take on this, and the listeners have heard me say it before, and certainly our agents at Real Estate 3 know that I'm a big fan of public open houses. And what I found the other day is that the National Association of Realtors said that 48% of home buyers in 2010, 48%, so half of the home buyers visited a public open house. And so the buyers are going to open houses. So I thought that was a good data point. And then the second data point that I hear that I think is a positive, oftentimes we hear realtors complain about this, is we hear, well, the neighbors came. It was only the neighbors that came to the open house. And I want to encourage the neighbors to keep coming because, in my opinion, neighbors help sell the properties on their street. And it's critically important that they understand the value of the home that's for sale, and oftentimes by visiting the public open house, they'll think of, oh yeah, I have a friend that I know who might be a great neighbor. What do you think about that?
I agree. Neighbors typically are the best source of potential buyers for homes. So I do concur with that thought, indeed.
So, Jonathan, I would say from my standpoint, and I'm going to side with David, I think over certain price points it might not make sense. But if you're a seller looking to sell your home up to, and I would say up to $1 million, but particularly in the hottest part of the marketplace where you're today, you're probably 150 to 600. I would say absolutely. Public open house. Don't let your agent talk you out of it. Do it. And today's an example where there's over 30 homes open. Get out there and check it out. We're going to be right back with David Cooke, associate broker with Real Estate 3.